Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the Strength Squad podcast, and I'm your co-host, Steve Carty.
And I'm Nick Scopoletti.
And this is our second attempt at recording this intro. The camera is actually recording this time. That's kind of cool. That helps with a fucking intro.
Yeah. Good job, Steve.
Awesome episode for you guys today. We have Brian Carroll, part 2. So if you guys remember Brian Carroll's first time he was on with shitty sound, now we're on with better sound.
Way better sound.
And Brian's here to talk with us about
lifting. And we do
lifting.
a lightning round at the end with him.
Yeah, lightning round with Brian Carroll. Stick around for that.
Oh,
for sure.
At the same time.
But yeah, Brian's here to talk to us about lifting, training, some of his philosophies, and also about his new website. That his website was around, but he just did a little redo of it, and it looks dope now. So yeah, that's today's episode. Before we do that, though, start this thing off right with a dad joke. Yes. So, Nick.
Yes.
So at first, I didn't like my beard, but it really grew on me. It's your second time hearing the joke in 5 minutes, so not as funny the second time.
Wasn't even funny the first time.
Yeah, it was.
Nope.
Quick announcements before we start here, guys. Make sure you guys go to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to that. That way you get all of the awesome videos we post on there and our video version of our episode every week. If you don't like cool videos, cool. Don't subscribe.
Think you're fucking cool because you don't like videos? That's
exactly.
Cool, man. Fuck you.
Go subscribe to that. Leave a comment. Leave a review. Whatever. We want to hear what you guys have to say and feel.
Send us nudes.
Always. Make sure you guys go to our Stitcher, iTunes. Leave a 5-star review. Same thing, 5-star review. Leave comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. Then go to all of our social media. Facebook. Go ahead and like our Facebook page. Twitter, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, and then Instagram, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, and then to our cars.
You're clever.
Nailed it. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Plant Warrior Protein. Shout out to you guys. Go ahead, check out their stuff. Awesome vegan protein. Awesome product.
Just had it this morning.
Doesn't hurt any of our stomachs, so that's really good. So when you go
especially me.
If you go buy anything from the website, use the promo code STRENGTH10, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. I think it's time to slide into those DMs. Send some news. There's a nice little torpedo for you. I'm going to do this again. Missed it last time. Did record it. This week's 10 news, guys, is from an article from PowerRackStrength.com, Brian Carroll's website. It's a really dope article on the goblet squat and how to use it for a warm-up. And it's kind of a cool article because it's kind of half read article, and then there's a video with it as well. So there's a little bit of reading, and then there's a video that goes with it as well, which is pretty cool. So go check that out if you're looking for some more warm-up variations for your squat or just training in general. This is a great article about warming up using specifically the goblet squat. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, also check out the rest of Brian Carroll's site while you're there. It's pretty dope. We'll link that Send News in our show notes and also on our social media page.
Correct.
All right, guys, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get started with our interview with Brian Carroll. Want more of the Strength Squad? You can check out all of our social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Also, check us out on YouTube, where you can watch all of your favorite Strength Squad videos. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review on iTunes and Stitcher.
Stitcher? I just met her. We would like to thank our friends at Plant Warrior Protein, official sponsor of the Strength Squad podcast. Plant Warrior plant-based protein is easier on your stomach and contains a complete amino acid profile that helps you grow, maintain, and repair your muscles. It gives you 18 grams of protein per serving, and it's made from a blend of rice, pea, and hemp. Plant Warrior pledges to plant one tree for every item you purchase at their online store. Head over to plantwarrior.co, that's plantwarrior.co, and use the promo code STRENGTH10 to get 10% off of your purchase. That's promo code STRENGTH10 for 10% off of any Plant Warrior purchase. All right, everybody, we are here with Brian Carroll. Brian, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Nick and Steve, thanks for having me back. You guys doing well?
We're doing great.
Yeah, we're killing it, man. We're killing it. Glad to have you on. Third time. We got the mic. We got the headphones. We're fucking ready to rock.
Yes.
We're a high end entity now.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
Oh yeah, we're millionaires now. It's just we're crushing it, man.
Yeah, dude. You're like a tech. I don't even recognize you, Brian. You're like a technology fucking wizard right now, dude.
Crazy, man. I'm going to meet with Bill Gates and a few other people here soon, man. Give Amazon some tips on how to make their website better, and
Right.
they're gonna come to me. Forget the strength stuff.
That's right.
That's awesome. So, real quick, for those who maybe haven't listened to our other episodes with you on them, give a quick rundown of who you are and what you're doing in strength right now, and kind of your history in strength.
Man, can you guys believe it's 2018?
No.
That's like one thing that just came to mind. It's crazy. So, obviously, my name is Brian Carroll. I've been powerlifting for about 20 years. I did my first bench-only meet in 1999 when I was a senior in high school. As I finished up high school, I kind of gravitated towards training more instead of baseball, and kind of walked away from baseball and made myself a gym rat, and eventually got really serious into powerlifting after a couple bench meets in 2002. Stepped up, started training for my first meet, and man, the rest is history. That's over 15 years ago since I did my first bench meet, or first full meet, and man, it's been my passion. It's also, I've built a team around me, PowerXStrength.com, Team PRS, written multiple books. Gift of Injury is the most recent with Dr. Stuart McGill, and this actually documents and tells the story of my back injury that was self-inflicted in many ways, and the ups and downs, the many things that I've learned over the years, the mistakes, the successes, and best case scenario, those looking for a book to help circumvent injury. This is a good book to tell you, how bad injury could be, and how you can beat it if you do happen to get injured, and everything in between with lifting form, lifting cues, approaches to training, how to meet the demands for a specific sport if it isn't powerlifting or strongman. So we cover a lot. So, man, there's a lot that's happened in the last 20 years, and I'm just glad to be here.
And so we talked a little off camera too. Let's go into a little bit of that. Like, where do you think we've come as far as, like, maybe we could just specifically talk about the back, because you have history with that, but not even the back, just rehabbing in general, like rehabbing injuries, taking care of injuries, relieving pain. How far do you think we've come? Because you're someone who's been around a long time, obviously. How far do you think we've come from then to, maybe things you were doing 20 years ago to things that are being done now in the strength world?
Man, things have come a long way. So obviously the buzzword social media has to be thrown around a little bit, because social media is a big part of getting information out there. But with that comes a lot of bad. You might have someone that's been in the game for 25 years that may not be able to sell themselves as well as someone who's been in the game for 2 years. And just because something's pretty and easy and comes into a nice package, it's easy to assimilate. You think, okay, this is the way. And maybe the guy that's a little older in the game is a little more rough around the edges and the delivery isn't as pretty. A lot of the time, people will go to the marketer and they'll take it as gospel. And I see that becoming a problem more and more. And again, anybody can write anything on the internet. That does not mean that it's valid, true, or applicable. So keep that in mind. Just because it's in a pretty package does not mean it's going to help you. So what I've seen over the years is a lot of very good content. There's a lot of good content outlets out there right now. You guys have had some amazing guests on there, whether it be Dave Tate or Andy Galpin or some of those guys that are really, really good at their fields. And really, you can go out and get this information for free. Yeah. And a lot of these people are glad to help you, as long as you're respectful. You reach out to someone, you don't say, hey, tell me about da-da-da-da-da. No, you say, hey, how's it going? I know you're busy. It's all about the way you reach out to somebody and your tone, a lot of the time. So, there's a lot of good people out there that will help you. There's a lot of good information. The key is being able to sift through it and at least know the basics so you're not getting fed, a bunch of bullshit. And unfortunately, we are in the day and age of bullshit, and there's a lot of that out there. So you just have to be very careful and surround yourself with people that have been there, have a good balance of scientific backing and real world validity. And at the end of the day, find your niche of people and grow and make mistakes together and get better for it.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about mistakes before, man. It's almost like you you do the most learning with like the biggest mistakes you make. Whether it's you're a coach or in your actual strength training, it's like you go through these like really shitty lessons and really tough lessons, but you come out on the other side with kind of like this well of knowledge.
Yeah, it's something about, when you have good memories and bad memories in your brain, it cuts a deeper groove, right? And it stays there longer. So really good things happen, you really remember. Really bad things, you obviously remember because they're painful. The things in between tend to get lost, in my experience. So obviously with my back history and the meeting of Dr. McGill and overcoming this back injury, I've learned a lot. And I learned, a lot, certainly so many things that I was doing wrong that helped either perpetuate the injury or things that I just was ignorant about. That luckily I've been able to learn and become better for it. But there's still so much more that I have to learn. And the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know, and that's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah,
There's just so much. You're never there. You have someone like Louis Simmons that's been doing this. Louis got to be closing in on 70 years old. He's had Westside Barbell forever. He's built some of the most gigantic, strong human gorillas that have ever existed. So I think that regardless of what you feel about his methods or his approach or some of the things that you may have heard he said, that's what I said. Keep in mind, you may have heard what he said and it may have been lost in translation a little bit. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You shouldn't agree with every single person out there, to a fault. You need to have some critical thinking for sure. And disagreement is good. Debating is good, but the context and the way you do it is key in my opinion, because there's going to be methods that all of us have utilized and have had success with that people won't agree with. Or maybe the scientific literature says that shouldn't work. That doesn't mean that you should just throw everything out. You should kind of be able to sit back and say, well, why does this work for so many people if the science says it shouldn't work? So again, there's so many different ways to look at things. And I think that if we're patient, we're slow to speak, and we're quick to learn, I think that will benefit all of us.
I have a question regarding like what you just said, is talking about trying everything and how different things work for different people. There is that, I guess some people think they're like, I'm special, I'm a snowflake, I need to only do this, this, and this. But do you feel like at some level, programming and strength training, you really need to find what works for you and it's not going to work for everybody? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, you definitely need to. I suggest to everyone, even though I have products, I have philosophies, 10/20 Life, Gift of Injury, I would not want anyone to go out there and follow it blindly, verbatim, and be a talking Brian Carroll robot. I don't want to see that. What I want to see is people take bits and pieces from all the people that have went before them, take what works, add it to your protocol, your repertoire, your regimen. What doesn't work, kind of make note of it, maybe push it aside a little bit, tweak a couple things. But the biggest thing is try one new thing at a time, give it time, and then be able to make a proper analysis of why it works or why it doesn't work. People just try, 5 different things at one time. They say, oh, that works great. Well, what part of it works? Why does it work? Why doesn't it work? So I think that, man, it's just about patience. And I'm 20 years in now, and I'm realizing that it is it's a thinking man's game. The strength industry is a thinking man's game. It takes time, and you will make a lot of mistakes, but don't try to apply too many variables at once. Be slow, and learn your own way, but definitely respect and research those that have come before you, and don't just think that you know more than them, because chances are, 10 years in, they probably thought the same thing and went on to learn 30 more years. I'm talking about the gurus.
Yeah.
And they're realizing, man, I'm glad I didn't open my mouth too much 30 years ago because I didn't know shit. So again, that's what I'm trying to, promote an open mind to, the greats that have come before us, and, always be open to learn. That's the key. You're never quite there. There's always going to be a little bit more you can be better, a little more, tweaking here and there. So at the end of the day, be patient. You don't know it all. And chances are there's someone out there that's just like they say with, strength training or fighting. There's always someone better. We see this in the UFC all the time. You think someone's really arrived. They did this in Francis Ngannou.
Yes, that fight with Stipe.
Yeah, so they said, man, this guy, he hits harder than anyone that we've ever measured. He looks like a heavyweight champion. Dana White was all over him, Joe Rogan. He looks like the heavyweight champion of something. Then he goes out there and they realize that he does not wrestle. He doesn't wrestle in his camp. He has no ground game. And then all of a sudden you realize that, hey, this guy really isn't that good. He's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
And, so there went that thing. So you see, there's always someone bigger and badder out there just coming along, the way he knocked out Alistair, the way Stipe handled him with the game plan. There's always going to be someone coming along that's bigger and badder. And we saw that with Mike Tyson, too. Mike Tyson was a bully for a long time until Buster Douglas got in his face, took his punches, ate his punches, and then dropped them.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, and Stipe's, side note, Stipe's a badass. That dude's like a firefighter, too. He just works a regular job, and he's just killing people in the UFC. I love that guy. Anyways, I just got to say that.
Let's talk about those who are kind of new to the weight room, right? So guys who maybe they're a couple of years in, and you kind of think you're a couple of years in, and you're like a vet at that point. Let's talk about those who are new to the weight room. So kind of from like a visualization standpoint. Let's take Brian Carroll now, 20-year vet Brian Carroll, and he's sitting in a room with Brian Carroll when he like first started lifting weights. What's the conversation there? What does Brian Carroll 20 years look like, and what does Brian Carroll 0 look like?
Brian Carroll 0 found success early, and I was lucky as I got into powerlifting and got more serious with it. I was able to get with Team Samson, and it's a powerlifting group here that we train at Adam Drigger's gym since 2003. And, I found early success, but at the same time, I had people like Adam who are already veterans and people that came out there to train with us that always checked me. And I think it's important to surround yourselves with people that are going to be honest with you and not just bust your balls, but let you know when you're out of line or your head's too big. So I think that's something that's really helped me. So going back then, Brian, now I would say slow down. You don't know quite as much as you know. Even let's say not 0, but 5. 5 years in, I'd already had an all-time world record within 3 years of doing full meet. So again, even though I thought I got it at these different times, I really didn't quite get it. I really thought that I was Superman. I really thought that there was no stopping me, and it did lead to some arrogance for sure. So what I would go back and say is be patient, understand that no matter how good you are, there's going to be people that come, and just like history showed us, there's going to be people that come, they're going to be stronger than you, they're going to be smarter than you, they're going to outlift you. Be patient, worry about the details more, and lay a solid foundation and be good to your body. Your body's a finite resource. It's limited. So once you start tapping and overusing it, when you want it, there's going to be times where your body says, F you, dude, I'm not available today because you've not made enough good investments into your body, enough good deposits. So when it's time to withdraw, I was bankrupt or I was bouncing checks or whatever analogy you want to put with that. And you're always learning. So I would slow myself down a bit, say, hey, you got 1,030 squat. You beat Chuck Vogelpohl's best lift within a couple years of lifting, but let's look at the big picture still. You still aren't shit. So let's slow down a bit and keep learning, keep an open mind, and certainly don't compete so much. And that was one pitfall that I fell into. I mean, in 2008, just a couple years after setting the all-time world record, or my first one, I competed 8 times in 2008.
Damn,
8 full
my
meets.
God.
Yes.
It's almost one a month, man. That's crazy.
So that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Let me tell you. So 2007, December 1, January 2008, February 2008, and then we had a second one in February 2008. So that's already just February. And then we went in June. I had 2 meets: Georgia APF Seniors, WPC Worlds in November of that year, and then December again. So if you count December to December, that's 8 full meets that I did.
It's still a lot. It's still
too
a lot.
much.
It's way just the 2 in February. I'm surprised.
And you got to take into account it's not just the meets, but I was already squatting over 1,000 pounds at that time and pulling in the 7s, benching in the 7s. So the meet is one thing, but it's a preparation to get there. In total, 2,500 plus, like I was doing.
Yeah,
that's where the miles start adding up. It's the preparation for it, because maybe I only take 3 attempts over 1,000 pounds that day, but to prep for it, I might take 8 or 9 during that cycle. So it's, man, a lot of wear and tear. There's no rush. Be patient. And that's one big takeaway. If someone doesn't get anything else out of this podcast, it would be patient. Don't worry about competing so often. You have a life, an athletic lifetime, whether it be 10 years or 20 years, whatever it may be. You have plenty of time to do this, but don't rush it. Don't force it. Have a sense of urgency, but be in tune with your body as well.
And so as far as, say, someone comes to you, they're new to strength training, and they're just so eager to, hit X number, right? Like, oh man, I want to be able to snatch 225, or I want to be able to bench 500. I want to be able to deadlift 700, whatever it may be, right? They have these lofty goals, and they're only, maybe a year or two in the strength training. What would you say to someone like that?
Well, it really depends on their background. If they're more of a student of the game and they understand anatomy and physiology a bit, I would give them the analogy that muscle adapts quickly, but bone doesn't. And Stu talked about this a bit during our podcast that we did back a couple months ago, that you have to let the bone callus and heal up, because you're basically creating microfractures, and they need to lay down some extra bone, callus, and then become stronger. Muscles, they heal pretty quick. So someone that hasn't been loading their spine for a long time wants to get to a 700-pound deadlift within a couple of years. This could be problematic on a few levels, and that's saying that their muscles hold together. That's also another stretch too. So my biggest thing is relating to their background, finding some common ground to talk about, just imparting wisdom on them, saying, look, man, that's a great plan. How about we slow down a little bit? What are you deadlifting right now? Well, if they say 350, I'm like, well, then, you got a long ways to go before 700. If they're on the cusp of a 650 deadlift and they want to deadlift 700, that's a different story as well. So again, it's just being able to relate to them. One of the key, or should I say, popular buzzwords right now is buy-in. Everyone's saying, but you got to buy into the program, buy in. Brett Bartholomew wrote a book about, the conscious coaching and the buy-in and everything. I haven't read it, but it's one that I'd like to get to. Anyway, you got to get them to buy into what you're saying. Otherwise, it's going to go in one ear, out the other, just like with a lot of young people. So there has to be some relatability there, I feel. And, not everyone's just going to listen to you when you say, be patient, because that's so cliche. I'm like, whatever, I've been hearing this all my life. I'm not going to be patient. But really, if they would just understand that someone like Ed Cohen took 20 years to cement his legacy, you're not going to create a legacy in 2 or 3 years. So if that's something you're wanting to do, you need to think long-term and have a long-term plan.
Yeah, that's something we talked about a little bit on the episode we did on social media, was especially now with what we were saying with social media, all you see is the immediate, present, right? You see, such and such squatting 1,000 pounds, right? And so I think what you do is you see that, and subconsciously you think, oh, this guy just steps on a platform and squats 1,000 pounds. And it's like, what we don't see is, like you were saying with Ed Cohen, the 20 years that it took to achieve X, Y, or Z. And so there's this like perpetuated, like, I expect to start CrossFit and then a year later be able to snatch 225, which, like,
and go to the games.
For some freaks out there, that could be possible. But for most people, they have these huge goals and they want to see it done in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's like social media is like a highlight reel. People don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's a highlight reel, and a lot of the time it's fake. I mean, we know the industry. Every industry has its dirty secrets.
Yeah.
We know that sometimes things aren't quite the way it may appear. There's fake weights out there. We have Brad Castleberry that shows us that. There's fake weights out there. Maybe some of the stuff he does is real. Maybe it isn't. I'm not one to say, but I know fake weights exist because I've been to photo shoots with them, and I've seen. I've never used fake weights.
Oh, they're there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this can be disheartening for some young people when they see a guy that was deadlifting 405 just a couple weeks ago, and they're snatching up 600 pounds. That may be true. Maybe they took some shortcuts to get there. Maybe they're going to be retired with a back crippling injury in 2 years, or maybe they're just using some camera tricks, and some fake plates there or something. You never know. So the biggest thing is, one of the big rocks that you could take out of this is Focus on yourself. It doesn't worry about what so and so is doing. Especially in strength sports, all you do is compete against yourself. Now, with that said, I'm not saying you should only worry about yourself when you're competing. If you're competing, yes, you should absolutely try to win your division, try to win your show. But in training, don't let someone else's, big lifts or something they're posting throw you off your game. You see this all the time, and I've done it. I've written stuff that was for specific people to read, for them to throw them off their game, and to get them to either get so mad to train too hard or to get their confidence destroyed that they wouldn't have a chance to beat me. And it works. So take it from someone who's throwing little things out there, bait, if you will. Worry about yourself, and of course, try to win in the competition. But man, don't let someone dictate your pace because they get under your skin. That's one little thing that I've learned over the years. And if Arnold isn't a good example of that, then I don't know who is.
I was just about to say, as you were saying that, I was thinking about the scene in Pumping Iron when he's like, "I just give him the wrong advices," all that stuff. It throws him off, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it works."
He said that Franco wasn't quite ready, and if he was, I'd make sure that he wasn't. Basically, is what it comes down to. And I mean, even just the conversation between Arnold and Lou's dad at breakfast before.
Oh, that's the greatest.
And then Lou was over there. Louis couldn't compete with Arnold's wit. He'd be devastated. So it was funny seeing the dynamic there that, Louis was definitely not on Arnold's level. He wasn't from a physicality standpoint.
Yeah.
If he would have learned how to pose better, if he would have been a little more aggressive in some ways, and he would have been more confident, maybe he ends up beating Arnold sometime. But Arnold owned him in more ways than one, and it started with breakfast before the show even happened.
I love that when he's like, "I called my mother. I told her I won already." I love Louis' dad is like old school New York Italian guy, like throwing it back at him. Oh, best scene.
It's good. Yeah, so and that's one of those things that Arnold wasn't going to change anything he was doing, no matter what he saw Louis doing in the gym. Louis training extra hard. 5 more pounds, I want to beat him.
Right.
That is good to a certain extent, that you want to be motivated and bring the intensity, but don't change your game plan because someone got under your skin that day and you want to go heavier. That could throw off your whole trajectory for the whole training cycle.
Yeah, and like with strength sports too, man. Like it's not like a basketball or a football or a lot of like soccer. Like it's not like the main sports really. I mean, your competition is you're competing against other people, and you're training. But like you said before, you're training with yourself. But even on the platform, like it's just you. No one's playing defense against you, right? There is no element of the other team or the other person, or like a fighting sport or anything like that. So it is literally the ultimate like solo individual
you
sport.
versus you, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a track meet. Usain Bolt running the 100. He's competing against people next to him, but he can't let them to distract him where he fouls, out of the blocks or whatever. He's still trying to beat them, but he is focused on what he's doing, and he knows that if he does what he needs to do, he's gonna wrap up the gold like he has so many times. So I made that analogy a couple times about track meets and powerlifting being very similar. That doesn't mean you don't want to win the track meet. You know what I mean? You're still trying to win.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do because, like you said, there's no defense. Thankfully, that'd be weird.
That'd be really weird, dude. Imagine someone like D'ing you up when you're trying to squat. Like, I don't know what that would look like.
Trying to block you from the bar.
But hey, man, I added an extra 45 on the side of the bar there, man. I hope he doesn't notice. But yeah,
or if powerlifting meets were like, up next to squat, Brian Carroll, you get under the bar and it's like you have to squat before some dude gets like a 10-yard running start and like checks you in the gut or something like that. It's like I don't know what defense would look like in strength sports, but
I think that's the next step.
Someone pay the spotters to walk off the platform.
Yeah. Or like you're bench pressing and someone's just like elbow dropping you as you're bench pressing. Like I don't know what powerlifting defense would look like, but that's kind of what I'm imagining in my head.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. So yeah, we joke about it, but really you're in charge of executing, and you should treat it just the same in training. execute. Don't change your game plan because someone's acting like a monkey on social media and trying to get your attention and throwing stuff at you, and you're taking the bait, right? You take the bait, you go in, oh, I'm going to show them, I'm going to train extra hard, and next thing you know, you pull a bicep, you tear one off, you hurt your back, because why? You let someone else influence your trajectory, and they win. Don't do that.
Right.
Save it for the meet, hone that intensity in for your lifts, but don't let it change your path.
Yeah, for sure. So you have some new content kind of coming out on your website, and we talked a little off camera, some stuff about like West Side and all that. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we are relaunching PowerXStrength.com. We totally rebuilt it. We updated it, upgraded it, made it so much more easy to navigate. And the problem with putting out products like 1020 Life, and Gift of Injury, 2017 was a busy year for me. It's hard to cover all your bases. So you're busy building good products, in my opinion, good products, good information. Your sales and marketing will suffer. And in my case, my website suffered because you can only do so many things at one time. So finally, we launched Gift of Injury in October. Ever since then, I've been working on making PowerXStrength.com more friendly. We got great podcasts on there from the Strength Squad, and just all kinds of good content all over the place now. So with that said, I'm back to writing again, and the first article that we're going to roll out is my greatest influences over the years. And a lot of people don't know, but Louis Simmons has been a great influence on me since my first national meet in 2004. He's always had nice nuggets of wisdom, and sometimes he said things that I didn't really like at the time, but I needed to hear. And this article kind of pays tribute to him and thanks him, because let's face it, Louis Simmons, without his pioneering, I think most of us would not be here right now in the same position with with the amount of information that we know about strength training and speed and powerlifting in general. So I think that, for someone that's done so much, he doesn't get nearly the credit. I'm not saying that you should agree with everything that he says or does, just like I don't think that people should agree with everything that I say or do, but there has to be some credit given for the validity of his work and the giant human gorillas that he's created over the years. So it's kind of paying tribute to him. It's thanking him for some things that he's written in PL USA over the years, different conversations that we had in 04, 06, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, I've known him for a long time. And in some ways, it's an apology that I haven't been more grateful and shown more appreciation for what he's done for me personally and for the community. So it's a long article, and it kind of it's kind of an open book, and I'm real about some mistakes that I've made and when I've disregarded some legendary advice at times. So again, man, we're all still learning at this point, and I think the faster that people realize that we're all on this journey together to learn, the better off we'll be, and not just the people that have been in it for 2 years and know everything.
Nice.
Absolutely.
And how's 1020 Life going? I mean, the more and more I look around, the more and more I see like the 1020 Life shirt and people referring to 1020 Life. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So the premise of PowerX Strength is to showcase the 1020 Life philosophy and methodology, right? So the sponsored lifters that I have on the site, they all showcase and utilize 1020 Life in their own way. So we've added a couple strongmen on the site. Some people that do a little bit of CrossFit and everything, some Olympic lifting. So 1020 Life is a versatile program, and we want to showcase that. And we're going to do an even better job now with the site basically being giving it justice. Let me just say that for the content that we have. So 1020 Life's going well, and I plan on going abroad this year for the first time, and seminar announcement soon for Greece, Italy, and the UK. So everything's
Awesome.
going great with that, and I think the Gift of Injury release has really helped open me up to a different demographic as well. Maybe people that just either didn't know of me or just thought of me as just a power lifter and didn't think that my methods and philosophy was applicable across the board. So it's all good things, man. I've been patient, and again, I'd like to think that the 20 years of hard work that I've put in are starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell too. Like I said, man, everywhere I look, I'm starting to see 1020 Life even more, and like the philosophies and principles from it as well.
Yeah, Gift of Injury, all that stuff. You're a 20-year overnight success, Brian.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, it only took however many months, or in 20 years times 12. That's a bunch of months.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of That's a bunch of injuries,
Yeah.
a bunch of lifting sessions, a bunch of mistakes, a few successes mixed in with a little bit of luck, man.
Yeah.
And here we are. But I'd like to see where I am in 20 years instead of only focusing on the last 20, because I have a long ways to go, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. I
We
think
all
so
do.
too.
We all do.
And so your seminars, you mentioned you're going abroad for some seminars. What are you going over? What are you talking about in these seminars?
Yeah, so we talk about a lot of the main principles of 1020 Life. And again, for the person that's really having success in their own training methodology or approach, or they may use conjugate or one of these other approaches, which really, if you look at a lot of them, they're really not that different. The verbiage is quite a bit different. The biggest difference is the sound principles that I think that 1020 Life offers. And, we have phases of training. We suggest deloads periodically, and that kind of goes and ties in with the whole bone. The bones take time to adjust, whereas the muscles don't take quite as much. So you might be recovered from a musculature standpoint, but maybe not your spine. And we know how cumulative these injuries can be over time. So people want to laugh about it. And I got a funny little point to this. People, say you don't need to deload or you shouldn't deload. Do you know where the first thought of deloading came from?
No.
In my experience, I was new to powerlifting, or kind of new still, only a couple years in. I read an article on PL USA from Louis Simmons that talks about not going over 90% more than 3 weeks in a row because it will lead to a regression and stale state. Does that not kind of parallel to why we advocate deloads in 1020 Life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. It's 2 weeks of training, if I'm correct. 2 weeks,
Yep.
and then the next week's like 50% of the main lift, and the third.
Yeah.
That's right. And I've heard Louis quote that. If you go 90%, and I think I've said it before on the show using his quote. Yeah, makes sense.
So, granted, his application is rotate the exercises, right? He'll have you don't want to do the same exercise, more than 3 weeks in a row at 90%. It'll lead to CNS overstimulation, so on and so forth. I took it as, man, I always feel good after I take a down week after 2 to 3 weeks, reset, work on your form for that deload week, and then come back. You're always building that momentum, and since it's linear periodization, you're not just going to build linearly indefinitely, in a linear fashion.
Right, yeah.
You need to build, stimulate, back off, build, stimulate, back off, depending on where you are in training, is your rep scheme and your intensity and volume. So again, a lot of people want to say, oh, it's silly or it doesn't work or whatever. I took it from one of the greats and kind of made it my own, and hopefully I'll influence other people down the road to, with these principles to utilize these things, in their own way and create their own path. But, back to the seminars, we're just talking about, the load and volume intensity, why we deload. Form is a really big component of 1020 Life. There's no perfect form for anyone across the board. There are some things you should look at. And of course, you need to assess hips, torso to leg length, injury history, biological age versus lifting age. And I teach all these things so they can, at the end of the day, best case scenario, they become their own coach, and I can sit and play in my office all day on my computer. You know what I mean? I can create the philosophy, and they don't need me to coach them. Now I gladly coach them, and that was kind of a joke, obviously, but I want to give them the tools to be able to be their own coach. And these seminars are really going to help accomplish that. We talk about, my injury history and how you can avoid injury, why we warm up. Man, so many different components of the 1020 Life philosophy that at the end of the day, I would like them to have this knowledge and be able to pass it on to other people.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, Brian. When we come back, we're going to do a segment called Lightning Round. We're going to get a little nutty.
Sounds good.
So sit tight, guys, and we'll be right back. Want more of the Strength Squad? You can check out all of our social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Also, check us out on YouTube, where you can watch all of your favorite Strength Squad videos. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review on iTunes and Stitcher.
Stitcher, I just met her. We would like to thank our friends at Plant Warrior Protein, official sponsor of the Strength Squad podcast. Plant Warrior plant-based protein is easier on your stomach and contains a complete amino acid profile that helps you grow, maintain, and repair your muscles. It gives you 18 grams of protein per serving, and it's made from a blend of rice, pea, and hemp. Plant Warrior pledges to plant one tree for every item you purchase at their online store. Head over to plantwarrior.co. That's plantwarrior.co and use the promo code STRENGTH10 to get 10% off of your purchase. That's promo code STRENGTH10 for 10% off of any Plant Warrior purchase. All right, everybody, we are back. We're with Brian Carroll. And before we wrap it up here, we're going to do a segment we call Lightning Round. Get to know our friend Brian Carroll a little more. We're going to throw them at you real quick. Last time we did this was with Danny Lear.
Yeah. Oh, we did one with Charlie Weingroff.
No, but lightning round. Lightning round was Danny Lear.
Yeah.
We're not going to bust out the Harry Potter questions today. But
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to help you with that.
Another one that's not a fan.
Danny
No,
Lear.
I know they're good. I know that because
Right.
I'm smart enough to know that so many people agree on something. It's probably pretty good, because
Yeah.
the reviews of the series. There's 7 or 8 of them.
Something
Right.
like that. The movies are great. I don't read the books, but I've watched the movies a bunch
I
of
just love
times.
how Harry Potter just keeps coming up on our show, man.
We're going to owe them money or something.
All right, Brian.
What was I saying this whole time? You need to open your mind.
Yeah, dude,
Right.
Harry
Hey.
Potter.
Hey.
I'll report back, guys, after I watch all 15 of them.
You better read all 60 Harry Potter books for the next time we get back here.
Remortgage my house.
Yeah.
Get all those damn books.
All right, Brian, you ready? Lightning round.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Ben and Jerry's cookie dough, or strawberry cheesecake, or peanut butter cup.
All right.
Three of
top
them.
3.
Nice.
I like it.
your
Say a
stuff.
word in Spanish.
Quattro. I like the protein from CaptainJack.com. It's a great way that won't mess your stomach up.
Wow. Turn that question into
Wow,
a plug.
Brian.
I like it.
Marketing savage.
Ready for it.
God damn it.
Do you believe in fate?
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
Okay. That's it.
Any examples of that?
See, this could be a complicated question, but I believe that as long as we are going down the right path and doing the right things, that certain things will present itself to us, and it's up to us to have our eyes open and to be ready to take it on.
I'll take that wisdom all day.
Yeah, that's great.
Favorite number?
7.
Why is
Why?
that?
It's supposed to be God's perfect number. So, even let's just say that there's no God and none of that stuff exists. I would still like to err on the side that it's God's favorite number.
All right.
All right.
You're committed. I like it. Who has it easier, men or women?
It just depends. That's a tough answer to give because it depends on the circumstance. I think we all have very complicated issues, especially when we're growing up, man. Think of being a 13-year-old guy. I don't think females can understand what that's like, coming up when you have these crazy urges and thoughts. But then again, a female at 9 years old has also a lot of issues that come early that, I'm not a dad, but, if I have a little girl and obviously my wife would handle those, those talks. Yeah. But it's a really tough thing growing up, and having these changes happen to your body. And 13 years old, you overnight turn into a zit-faced monster. You know what I mean? And, you have boners in the morning. You're like, what the hell is going on? I can only speak as being, a kid and being an awkward 13-year-old. You don't know what the hell is happening.
No idea. It's the weird. Middle school is the worst time ever.
Dude, when my face broke out, I was like, what is this?
I used to wear my grandmother, I'll admit this on air. My grandmother used to give me like her cover up to put over my pimples because I was like so mortified to go to school. And she's like, come here, I got you. You're fine. Don't worry.
Oh man. I wasn't.
Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
Yes, I have. In that awkward age group of age range of 13, I had some really badass Nike sandals.
Yep.
And those were cool at the time. And I wore socks with them. That's a big foul. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I think we've all been
I
there.
used to do that.
I had the Adidas sandals.
used to do that for football though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just take your cleats off, put those on. So it wasn't like style. It was just.
But I'd wear them to school. I wore them to school. Not a good move.
Oh, I definitely did that.
Not smart.
I used to wear Tim's with jean shorts, like Tim's and cargo shorts. That was my shit.
Wow, dude. What was your
Yeah.
what was your wrestler name?
John
The
Cena.
socks with sandals is probably one of my biggest regrets. I'm just kidding.
Like
Ever in my whole life.
Name a primate besides monkeys and apes.
Humans.
Nice. I always wait for someone to say that. No one ever says that one.
Fucking nailed it.
Last time I asked someone that, they said orangutans. I was like, all right, that's a good one. But no one ever says humans. Why can't we tickle ourselves?
I think it's a mental thing. You're ready for it. You know, the tickle's about surprise. You know, maybe one day we realize this in person. I'll get both of you.
Yes. Oh my God, this is
Tickle
this is taking
expert
a
Brian
turn. I
Carroll.
like this.
What does a person need to be happy?
This is highly dependent on the person. I think that once basic needs are met, a good purpose in life and something to get up in the morning and be excited about and accomplish. And obviously challenges are necessary, in my opinion. Things that take time to chip away at and overcome when maybe you had doubts that you were ever going to see these things through. And that's something I think that really helped me in 2017. I had some challenges. You know, one of them was writing a book with Dr. McGill, and that's a daunting thing to really bring your A game with.
Yeah.
And at times I doubted myself, but then you overcome those doubts, you exceed your expectations for yourself, and you know, it pulls the best out of you when you have a big challenge, I think. So you need challenges, you need your basic needs, you need someone to care about you, you need someone to care about, and you need something to be able to blow off steam with. And for me, it's powerlifting.
Word. Is there such thing as objective beauty?
Yeah, I think so. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think so?
I don't think so. No, I think it's all subjective. Like someone could be super hot to someone, but to someone else it couldn't be. So
True.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking of like that pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
yeah, like who?
That should be beautiful to everybody.
Yeah, like
sexy.
there are certain things though that like everyone is like, oh yeah, that I love that, or oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that about Jessica Biel. Regardless, oh, she's so beautiful.
She is.
So pretty, or I don't know. But to answer your question in a straightforward, real manner, it's all beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But there are a lot of things that people look at and say, "Wow, that thing's beautiful." It's like the C7 Corvette or something. You know what I mean? They're like, "Dang, that's slick."
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Jessica Biel's a great example. I love her. Anyways,
what is the best age?
The best age is the age where you have the least amount of pain, the most knowledge, and things going the best for you. So for me, at 36 going on 37, I would say that's 36 is the best age. You don't know enough in your 20s.
yes, absolutely.
For me, at 22, the stuff I learned from 22 to 30. Whoa, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you guys are at the age now where you're like, dude, I was a dick in my 20s, early 20s. You know what I mean?
Dude, for real. I'm going to be 30 in a month, and I look at like who I am now, and then I look at college, like 20, 21, 22-year-old me, and I'm like, Jesus
crazy,
Christ.
Dude. Have you guys heard the bit about Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan talking about the dumb stuff he said as a kid and how dumb he was as a kid?
No. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan now.
Yeah, go back and pull it up, and he talks about how he would get tricked by his girlfriends, and he would say what was really in his mind. He didn't have enough. He didn't have enough world experience to know that certain things you do not say to your girlfriend under any circumstances. And
like you look fat in those jeans.
Yeah. Anyway, you should listen to this because he talks about how much he's learned in his 30s, 40s, and now he's going on 50. But it makes me think of some of the dumb stuff I said in my late teens or early 20s that it may have been true. You just don't say that. You phrase it differently. You delay. You stall. You don't say what was exactly on your mind. But that's stuff you learn through trial and error, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I have so many flashbacks right now.
Is double dipping ever acceptable at a party?
Only if you're getting ready to clean out the rest of the contents.
I like that.
So
That's a great fucking answer. That's a power lifter answer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's been community food all night and everyone's kind of made their way over for the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, and you see there's only a little bit left, just clean it out but rinse it out. Rinse out your dish of dip and be a good guy.
Okay, I like that. Last one, Ariel or Jasmine? We're talking Disney princesses here.
Of course.
Princess Jasmine.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know.
Something about her. Something about her, man.
Magic lantern, something.
Yeah, man. The hair.
Yeah.
That's what does it. The hair. All right, interesting. I'm an Ariel guy. That ginger.
You look like Ariel.
Yeah, thanks. Got the same beard. All right, Brian. Thanks so much for joining us again, dude. Awesome to have you on for a third time.
Yeah, it's great.
Got the headphones, got the mic. You were ready to rock. Killed it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's been.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
It's been my pleasure, man. Thank you so much. You guys are doing a great thing, and I will help you guys in any way I can. Just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Same here. Thank you for joining us, guys, and we'll see you next episode. Deuces.